next week or next month, but for as long as they need it.
We are all together over here in behalf of the family of Maria. In behalf of my church, Iglesia Joven Cristiana, we also want to express our deepest condolence to the family, also the gratitude for the community to come together, and for all the elected officials to show their respect and their support to the Hispanic community, especially the Guatemalans, Hispanic community of Dyker Heights and Bensonhurst. Thank you all for coming, and obviously the mother of the child, Maria, she's devastated, and she preferred not to speak, and we all could understand why. And however, we're all here for one thing, and it is to mourn the death of this little angel. 2020 and 2021 could be described as the valley of the shadow and the death. So many people have passed away because of COVID, people who we care about, people who we respect. However, when it comes to a little child, only 6-year-old, that has not fulfilled her dream in life, is more devastating. And I deeply impact for this tragedy. Maria came to this country not too long ago, along to her 6-year-old child, and she came over here to fulfill the American dream, to work, to raise her daughter, but now that dream is taken away from her. That said, we are here to not only mourn her death, but to also make a statement that this kind of accident or tragedies could be prevented. That's the reason why so many organizations are here, to say that enough is enough. We know that the children, our children in this past year have been, most of them enclosed because of the quarantine. And every child have the right to be in their own community, to walk free and to enjoy the summer. But when we have people driving recklessly, without consideration, without acknowledging that other people are here as well, we have to say enough is enough. That said, I want to thank all the elected officials, especially Brooklyn Borough President Erick Adams, who is a friend of the Hispanic community, of the Guatemalan community, who have been present with us, not only in tragedy, but also in joy. Our church was inaugurated only a couple blocks from here, 13th Avenue and 76th Street. And in that inauguration, when we make a march, Borough President Erick Adams was with the Guatemalan community. That said, I want to thank him publicly because he has been here for us in the good time and in the sadness as well. We would like to start by acknowledging and allowing to express their condolence to the different elected officials that came here to pay their respect. And we would like to start with our Borough President, Erick Adams. Erick, I really want to thank you And for me, it's very touching and impacting that you are here. And we all know that you are very busy in this day. But for you to stop for this humble family and say that you do care, I want to thank you for that. They are immigrants. They came here to fulfill their dream. And for you to stop all your schedule in this day that we know that you are more than ever very busy, I want to thank you publicly. Thank you so much, Erick.
Thank you, and I just want to really thank my colleagues who are here, particularly Senator Andrew Gounardes, who has just stood side by side so many times, moving the important conversation around safer streets, Justin Brannan, Assemblyman Abbate, and Families from Safe Streets. I don't know how many times we have stood side by side together and engaged in this conversation, and how horrific it is to leave the park playing with your child, walking across the street on your way home, and to have a person just recklessly drive through our streets, taking the lives of innocent people. These traffic crashes have become too normal in our city. Here it is, a family that came to America to live out the American dream, only to see it turn into a nightmare because of a reckless action. I want to thank the police department for making the arrest. This person was held on $50,000 bail. We need to send the right message that this is not how families should be devastated. There's nothing more anti-human than having a mother bury their child. That is just unacceptable. And to have this mother here coming from Guatemala, sending a message that she wants to be part of this American experience, and to lose her baby like this. And Pastor Salgado has just played such an important role for this community as the families come to just do what's right for this city. And to have to go through this experience is just traumatic for us all. And it doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter what country you came from. The cry of a mother losing a baby is something that resonates through every family. There's not a parent that's here right now that does not feel the pain of this mother. Every parent that's here, this is the worst nightmare for a parent. And she didn't get a knock at the door. She didn't read it in the paper. She didn't hear about it. She was walking the streets with her baby when her baby died right there in her presence. Can you imagine the image of that? How do you ever get over it? You just don't ever get over that. And all of us are going to hug our children a little closer. All of us are going to hold them a little harder. All of us are going to hold their hands and think about it. But this mother can't do that. This mother can't do that. And it's devastating when we think about right here in our city, the number of traffic crashes that's experienced. It's not like we're saying the loss of Tamy was one incident that took place on the stage of our public safety battle and fight. But the numbers are too revealing. In just the past 6 months, 124 people died in traffic. 64 of the fatalities were pedestrians, just walking our streets. And so we're on track to be the worst year for traffic deaths since 2014. And right on this stretch of real estate, 12th Avenue in Dyker Heights, where we're standing now, 30 crashes in 2020, injuring 9 people. People don't deserve this. They don't deserve to be in a city where we've normalized having vigils, normalized holding these vigils to remember the loss and deaths of innocent people and the increasing ranks of the organization Families for Safe Streets. They don't want to increase their ranks. They want to see a zero tolerance for this type of abuse of our roadways. And it's just unacceptable. And so we're here today when Reverend Pastor Salgado called me and told me this was a member of his church. The number of times I visited his church and just saw hardworking people who just love this country. This pain is going to cascade throughout the entire community. It's a blemish on who we are. And we need to recommit ourselves and recommit our lives not to have our mothers and fathers and families live through this pain. And so I want to thank my colleagues who are here and Pastor Salgado. I thank you. And I'm just to the family, you know, our heart goes out to you and we're going to be here for you. There's going to be need help to bury the baby, so whatever we need to do to help financially during these difficult times. And you know, you have a great support group here with Families with Safe Streets. They're going to be here for you as well. My office and all the elected officials are going to be here to support you through this. And we are just truly sorry for this level of pain and devastation of what happened to you.
Thank you, VP Adams. I really appreciate it. We also have over here Senator Andrew Gounardes. Before he says some word, I would like to say some word in Spanish. En nombre de la Iglesia Jóvenes Cristianos, soy el pastor Erick Salgado, pastor de la Congregación Jóvenes Cristianos aquí en Bensonhurst por los últimos 20 años y trabajamos mayormente con la comunidad guatemalteca y nosotros estamos aquí porque la niña Tamy fue acribillada aquí por un conductor negligente. Su madre María aquí presente está devastada desde que sucedió el trágico accidente, pues nosotros hemos estado orando por ellos. Gracias de parte de ella, de toda la comunidad hispana, especialmente hispana guatemalteca de esta comunidad. Ellos quieren darle gracias a todos los que han estado aquí para ayudar con su presencia. Y estamos aquí no solamente para poder expresar nuestro dolor por la muerte de la niña Tamy, sino también para decir que es suficiente todas las muertes que hemos tenido a través de los años, de personas que simplemente quieren estar frente a su casa, como esta niña, que después de tanta cuarentena y tanto encierro, andaba básicamente frente a su casa con su madre y una persona negligente le quitó la vida. Tenemos que seguir las guianzas de cero tolerancia para los conductores negligentes, para que nuestra ciudad pueda tener paz. Especialmente en este año 2020 y 2021, que le hemos podido llamar el año de el Valle de la Sombra y de la Muerte, donde tanta gente ha muerto a través del COVID. Sabemos que aquí esta comunidad se convirtió en el lugar, en el epicentro del epicentro del epicentro del COVID. Pero cuando hablamos de una niña de 6 años que no tuvo la oportunidad de alcanzar su sueño americano, es más devastante. Así que gracias a todos. That said, I would like to introduce Senator Andrew Gounardes. Thank you so much for coming and for support the community as well.
don't even know what to say. I think about the moment I saw the news that there was a traffic crash here in Dyker Heights online, got the news alert, and that a 6-year-old lost her life. I started to cry. And I started to get so angry because every single one of these traffic crashes, every single one, are completely preventable. Completely preventable. This is not an accident. This wasn't an oops. This wasn't an oh, I'm so sorry. This should not have happened. This should never happen. I started crying, and I grabbed my sleeping 7-month-old and I picked him from his crib and I just started hugging him and crying over him. Because life should not be this way for any parent. For any parent. My family has suffered the loss of a traffic violence 2 generations ago, and still that memory is raw. This is not a new problem that we've been trying to fight. This is a problem we've been fighting for years and years and years. We should not be burying 6-year-old Tamy this weekend. My grandmother should not have to bury her 12-year-old daughter 60 years ago. I shouldn't have to live in fear of crossing the street when I'm pushing a baby stroller. No one here should have to live in fear of crossing the street because of reckless and arrogant driving. Because somehow we have internalized this belief that when we are behind the wheel of a vehicle, especially a vehicle that weighs 3-4 tons, that has the power to kill someone, especially a vehicle like an SUV with a hood that's probably taller than half of us here, so you can't even see past 30 feet in front of you when you're driving. We have come to accept that it's okay to drive these machines of death with impunity, and to think it's more important for us to take a turn and be somewhere 5 seconds faster, and who gives a damn about someone else being in our way? And I am so angry when I think about that, and how no matter how hard we fight, and no matter how many times we rally, and no matter how many times we hold prayer vigils, and we offer sympathy to the family, and we say never again, we can't seem to get this message through to the people who are operating these machines of death. And so, while we stand here in mourning with Tamy's family, and while we offer every resource possible from this community to support this family, not just today or tomorrow or next week or next month, but for as long as they need it, we had better all come together, and we had all better demand better of ourselves. Because the reality is we're all guilty of driving a little bit too fast behind the wheel. We all are. We're all guilty of taking that turn too fast. We're all guilty of pushing that pedal past 35 miles an hour, past 30 miles an hour, past 40 miles an hour, because we don't think there are consequences. Look right here. Look right here. Look at the pain in this family's face. Look at the pain in their hearts. Look at the pain in this community's hearts. There are consequences. And so we have to all do better. We have to all fight harder. We can change all the laws we want. We can change all the street infrastructure we want. But if we don't change the culture that allows this to happen time and time again, we're going to be here again at a different corner. It's only a matter of when. And so to the family of Tamy, my heart breaks for you. I am beyond a loss of words for what I could say to try to make you feel better, because I know nothing will make you feel better right now. I know. But we will do everything we can to honor her memory, have her be an inspiration to us all, and to do everything we can to support you for whatever you need from here on out forevermore. I'm so very sorry for your loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Also, yesterday I was approached by Fabiola, and I want to thank her as well. She represents the organization Family for Safe Streets. She could talk about this topic because she lost her son as well in the streets. And I would like to acknowledge her presence and allow her to be and say some words.
I have so much anger inside of me today, and I'm really sad. And I can write a book of words. We've been so many times out there in the streets, asking the drivers to drive careful, our elected officials for support. Enough is enough. My name is Fabiola Mendieta Cuapio, and I am a member of Family for Safe Streets. We're here to support the family of Tamy Quema Guachiac, a 6-year-old. She was killed by a reckless driver. Tamy had a future. She had dreams, and she should still be here with us today. Like every other 6-year-old, New York should be able to do. At Families for Safe Streets, we know this nightmare, this pain, all too well. And like the pastor say, I lost my son on Halloween night in 2006. It's been 15 years. This pain never go away. Never. It's gonna stay here for the rest of her life. Our young children should not be part of parenthood. Crossing the street should not be a death sentence. But it too often is because of the inaction of some of our elected officials. These preventable deaths leave a deep pain in our hearts. Our mayor and elected officials have the resources and the power to end traffic violence, to hold reckless drivers accountable. I'm doing this work for my son, for Tamy, for Karen. Karen is here with me every single vigil. She lost her mom in 2019. How this is fair? My son, he's a 7-year-old, he goes with me every vigil. And today, he said to me, enough is enough. I don't want to come to one more. For what? Nobody's listening to us. What else can we do? I know we have a new administration coming. And Erick Adams been with our community through these years, supporting us. And I'm asking you, in the name of my son, in the name of Karen, in the name of Tamy, in the name of our community, we need to change this. Deaths are preventable. We can change this. We need actions. And I'm not sure if the Spanish media is here today, pero el llamado también es para nuestros choferes hispanos. Necesitamos que cuando ustedes estén afuera manejando, lo hagan como si fueran sus hijos que están en la calle. Estas calles pertenecen a todos, pero también pertenecen a nuestros hijos. Nadie, ningún padre debería de enterrar a sus hijos antes. Ningún padre debería de ser testigo de la muerte de su hijo. Lo que le pasó a la mamá de Tamy el día de hoy es una tragedia y podemos cambiarlo. Podemos cambiar este rumbo. La Organización de Familias para las Calles Seguras es una organización donde los miembros hemos perdido a un familiar en las calles. No estamos en esta organización porque queremos. Y el número va creciendo y nos duele. Es un grupo donde no quisiéramos tener más miembros. Es un grupo donde quisiéramos que todo esto parara. Y el trabajo que hago, lo hago en memoria de mi hijo. Porque han pasado 15 años, y el dolor sigue. Tenemos aquí a Karen Porras hoy, que murió su mamá hace 2 años. Verla a ella sufrir sin su mamá, y a mí sin mi hijo, y a la mamá de Tamy. Necesitamos parar esto. Todos podemos parar esto. Y les pido su ayuda. Y les pido también para que sean vocales en sus calles, en sus familias, en sus grupos, en sus iglesias. Y que le pidan a sus oficiales electos que hagan un cambio. Porque necesitamos el cambio ya. No queremos más muertes. Mi hijo me dijo hoy, mamá, ¿cuándo va a parar? No tengo respuesta. Y eso me dolió más. Gracias. Thank you to our elected officials that are here today. Thank you for your support the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabiola, and thank you for the organization you represent. We also want to acknowledge Assembly Member Peter Abbate Jr. He's over here. Please, thank you in behalf of our community for being here with us.
As the senator said, it's hard to say anything to Tammy's mom and the family. I stand on this corner today and so many memories come back to me. I look at 2 houses, run across each of some of my best friends. We grew up on this corner. We can try to change, and I think some of the tenants are here and people here. It took 10 years to get this traffic light put up we fought for. And we wanted to end accidents like this. I guess it's not enough. I think the truth is we really do got to change the culture of driving. We got to explain to people, really, you're driving a very heavy vehicle. It's a responsibility. We have to get that through to people. I know for years we've had a point system in the state. For every violation, you get 2 points, you get 3 points on your license. You know, maybe the only lesson is you get a point on your license, you get suspended for a month. You get 2 points on the license, you get suspended for a longer time. That might send a message home. Other than that, I don't know what more we can do. We get traffic lights, we put speed bumps in, and it goes on, and we have tragedies like this. So we have to put our heads together and find out how we can stop tragedies like this. I can only say, you know, growing up a half a block from here, these streets were safe at one time. I don't know what's going on with the younger generation, newer generations. You know, drive a little slower, drive a little careful, take the time. You know, as I get older, I remember my dad driving at 78. He always drove at a safe speed, and he always got to where he had to go and got there on time. So all I can do is, you know, pray that we come to a solution so I don't have to be in any more events like this. So again, thank you, and again, so sorry to the family. And all of us will be here. Whatever you need, we're all going to be here for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman Peter Abbate Jr. But there's so many things that can be done. If we had to put a traffic camera in every single block of New York City, I guess it needs to be done. Because they will be flashing 24/7. And eventually, when the package drag out, people will start to listen. So, and they pay for themselves. So if every single block of New York City needs, especially in the residential area, to have a traffic camera, let's do it. Let's push for it. There's more that we could do. I know a lot of people don't like that, but the people who are suffering will be more than willing to have everybody to be watched over. Thank you, Assemblyman. Also, the other Assemblywoman from the community, I'm so sorry. It's over here. I don't have it in the program, but please come over here and say some word as well.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Assemblywoman Matilde Frontes. I'm the other Assembly member here in Dyker Heights. Like Senator Gounardes mentioned, when I heard this news, it stopped me dead in my tracks, and I just broke down. There's something in the air right now. When I'm on the Belt Parkway, I see people driving like maniacs. I see people without regard for their fellow neighbor. I see people speeding and scaring senior citizens that are driving, and I'm saying to myself, what is going on? Why are people doing this? Why is there drag racing? Why are people driving so recklessly? And as was said before, when you're in that vehicle, when you're in that big SUV, you feel so invincible. You think that everyone is gonna get out of your way, but that's not how the story ends. Invariably, someone always gets hurt. And we're seeing that more and more and more and more. And if every single person here stepped up to the mic to share a personal anecdote, I am certain that everyone here has a name of someone in their family. I myself lost an elderly woman in my own family just 2 years ago. She was crossing the street in Brighton Beach and got hit by a car and died on impact. This is real. This is personal for all of us. It's shameful and disgraceful. It has to end. And I think that we can't just say that we don't know what else to do. We're going to figure out what to do. We have to penalize people who are being reckless. And I'm not, this person who wants to throw everybody in prison, but this is getting really serious. And so if it takes stiffer penalties, if it takes harder rules to make sure that people are afraid to do this because they know that there's a high cost, then that's what it's going to take. This is really like a nightmare. And I'm so sorry for Tammy's family. We are with you, we're praying for you. Thank you, Fabiola, for the work that you're doing, for everyone at Families for Safe Streets, to all the community advocates who promote this issue all year round. And yes, hold me and all of your elected officials accountable, because that's our jobs. And feel free to reach out and ask us, what are we gonna do to make sure that this doesn't keep happening? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it in behalf of the community. Also, we have Council Member Justin Brannan. Justin has been a friend. I met him 8 years ago, and I thank you so much for you to be here, and I would like to give you some word as well.
Thank you, Pastor, for bringing us together, and for Brooklyn Borough President Erick Adams for bringing us together. We've done too many of these. One is too many, but we've done too many. I want to thank the NYPD for making an arrest. But there's no amount of street redesign or enforcement that's going to stop this. When I ran for office, I never thought I'd have to govern during a pandemic, but it taught me a lot. It reminded me of how inextricably linked we all are to one another, how inextricably linked we are to one another's health and well-being and safety. And what happened here is no different. My grandmother lives on this block. My mom and I visit my grandmother on this block quite a lot. It's by the grace of God that something hasn't happened to us. Families for Safe Streets is an amazing organization that should not exist. It's a club that no one wants to be a member of. A club whose membership should be dwindling and not growing every day. And it comes down to taking personal responsibility, personal accountability. I've been there. I've learned from it. I've learned from my mistakes. I've realized that when you're behind the wheel of a car, you're not the only person on the planet that matters. We have to remember that we are a city of we, not a city of me. And until everyone understands that, this is not going to stop. Until we understand that we're all connected, that lives were shattered on Tuesday night. Tammy's family, the driver and his family, the EMTs and paramedics who responded to this tragedy. Lives were changed forever on Tuesday night. Absolutely avoidable, absolutely preventable. We all have to take more personal responsibility when we're behind the wheel of a car. Driving is a privilege, it's not a right. This was not an accident, this was a crash. It could have been avoided. It's absolutely preventable. Tammy's family, all I can say is you're not alone. You're not alone. You never were alone, but now you're not alone. And we're going to be here for you forever. Whatever you need, this community is here. This community comes together like a small town. In a city of 8 million people, this community comes together like a small town. But we should not be here tonight. But you have my word that we will be here for you. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilman. I really appreciate it. We also have a Marcos Connor from Transportation Alternative. I would like to give him some word. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend. To Tammy's family, I'm so sorry for your loss. Last year, 244 families lost someone just like Tammy's family have. 244 families who are being ripped apart. Last year, nearly 3,000 families had someone in the family who was seriously injured with lifelong debilitating injuries. The oldest of those people killed last year was 90 years old. The youngest had not even celebrated their first birthday. The youngest had not even celebrated their first birthday. And the oldest, at 90, who had lived through 90 birthdays, lived through World War II, had weathered God knows what throughout all those years, but did not stand a chance when faced with a multi-ton car bearing down on them. Those are the tragedies that happen, and they happen year after year. The heartbreaking reality is that Tammy should be here today. Tammy should be alive. As devastating as that is, she should, because these crashes, as we've heard from our elected officials, some of our elected officials today, are preventable. We know that they will happen year after year. They are not accidents, but we fail to apply the changes that we know work. And this is about more than just individual behavior. We know that redesigning our streets to mitigate the worst of our worst behaviors is what truly makes our streets safe. We need to do all of the things that have been mentioned today and then some. It is not a matter of us not being able to afford the investment in this. We can not afford not to. And so we know the tools of redesigning our streets for safety. And we need to demand that our elected officials prioritize life. We need elected officials who not only care, but who care enough to act, and to act boldly in the face of entrenched ideas about who the streets belong to. The streets belong to New Yorkers, to people, to our children, and we need to all be safe, and we need to make sure that what happens to Tammy's family does not happen again. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We also would like to let the community know that tomorrow, 7 p.m., we're going to have the funeral service of little Tammy at our church at 8700 18th Avenue over here in the heart of Bensonhurst. I would also like to give some word to a good friend of the Guatemalan community, the lawyer Alex Shapiro. He came here to pay his respect and he has been with the community for a long time. I would like to give him some word, and then we just gonna finish.
What happened here was one of the worst possible things that can happen. A mother lost a child and a 6-year-old died. Maria's gonna be scarred for the rest of her life, and nothing will ever bring the 6-year-old Tamy back. We live in an interesting time when we drive very technologically advanced vehicles. Vehicles practically drive themselves. We're detached from the road. We're detached from the surroundings. We feel invincible. All of us are guilty of this from one degree to another. Text messages, so many other things make us forget that we're vulnerable and that the vehicle we're driving is really a devastating weapon. Nothing's gonna bring Tamy back, but the one thing that I will mention, and this is to all the viewers there, to the people of New York City, people of the country, and people of the world. Next time you're driving and you wanna pick up your phone, think of little Tamy. Next time you went out, you had a little drink, you think you wanna drive, think of little Tamy. The laws are there. Laws are effective in preventing tragedies like this. The problem is that the people are not following the laws. That's human nature, unfortunately. People get reckless. So the change has to come from within, from everybody in New York City, the country, and the world. Think of the greater responsibility that you have when you're operating your vehicle, because lives of others are involved. And in terms of potential legislation, what I find interesting is that with this advanced technology, we have cars that stop themselves. We have cars that drive themselves. And guess what? Most of the cars that can stop themselves, they're the very expensive, ultra-luxury vehicles. And the auto manufacturers who have this technology, which is not that expensive, relatively speaking, for them to make, they're withholding it. Why? Because they want to make a profit. Maybe if this vehicle had a technology that would stop by itself, maybe it would make a difference. So technology is here to help us. Technology is also here to hurt us because we get too comfortable and detached. So in ending my statement, just want to say, think of Tamy. Nothing will bring her back, but maybe this tragedy is going to be avoided in the future.
Once again, tomorrow we're going to have the body of little Tamy in our church, Iglesia Jóvenes Cristianos. Mañana vamos a tener el servicio fúnebre de la niña Tamy en nuestra iglesia, 8700 18 Avenida, a las 7 de la noche. La familia va a estar ahí, están todos bienvenidos. I want to thank everyone, especially Borough President Erick Adams, for putting this together. He, right away, put everything in action. And thank you so much, Erick. And he's going to light up a candle. Thank you all for coming here and for showing your support to this family. Thank you so much.